So, how much is a Thousand Trails membership? I get asked this all the time over the last 4 years. And my canned answer to that is, well, it depends. But I'm going to give you the exact amount that I paid for mine about 4 years ago. So, it's important when we talk about the cost of something or the investment of something that we know what it is that we're buying. So, when I was in real estate, I used to use the example of, somebody could say, well, how much does a house cost? Well, there's a lot of variables there. And if I told you a house costs $500,000, you might say that's too expensive. But what you don't know are all the details, that it's a house on the beach and it's, worth $10 million and you can have it today for $500,000. So in other words, you need to have all the details before you say, wow, that's too expensive. So I'm going to compare what I have invested for my living costs over the last 4 years compared to what you might have paid for rent or a mortgage. So let's be really, really conservative, and let's say that your rent is $1,000 a month. Now, some places it might be $500 a month. Most places, as I watch a lot of videos and travel around the country, is at least $1,200 or $1,400 or $2,000 a month. But let's just say $1,000 a month for rent. Now, if we're paying $1,000 a month for rent, that's $12,000 a year, and in a 4-year period, you've invested $48,000 in rent. Sounds like a lot when you really think about it. And if it's you're also paying your electricity. Some places maybe the water and sewer is included, maybe not. Maybe you have to pay for oil or gas to heat the place. Like when I was in New Hampshire, people would have a 1,000-gallon oil tank or propane for heat. So it just depends on where you are as far as what the utilities could be. Now, cable, internet, cell phones, those are things that we are going to have to pay no matter what. So let's just compare the rent someone would pay to the rent that I pay to put my RV at a Thousand Trails membership. Keeping in mind, yes, I do have to move at least every 21 days, but I did not get an RV to sit in one spot for a year or 10 years. I got my RV to get out and move around. So 4 years rent, $48,000. When I bought my membership for Thousand Trails, there's a lot of different options. There's some as low as $400 or $500 a year. And if you're only a weekend warrior and you're just going to go out once a month or maybe a couple weeks here and there, you don't need the membership that I have. But because I want to be 21 days at each spot and be able to go to all of them all over the country, my membership was $16,000. What? $16,000? But $16,000. And then the next 3 years, there's a membership dues that are due. And it's about $1,400 a year for the membership dues. So when I do the math, 16,000 plus the 1,400s, which is another 4,200, is $20,200 for 4 years of rent. And that includes electricity, water, and sewer. Some cases it includes internet. I have found places where I could get on the internet without having a code. But so if you're paying $48,000 for 4 years, how much was your electricity? $100 a month, $200 a month extra? How much was your heat, etc.? So when you put it into perspective, you can see why a Thousand Trails membership for me, for the way that I do it, is less than half of what the average person would pay. And now every year that goes by, my investment goes down. So for example, for the next 12 months, I might pay my $1,400 dues, and you or someone paying $1,000 a month is paying $12,000. So for the next year, you got 12,000 invested. I have 1,400. Another 12 months, you got 12,000 invested. I've got 1,400. So it actually gets less and less and less the longer I have the membership. And the last thing to say about it is that I can resell my membership. I don't know anyone who's going to get a rebate from their landlord or be able to get reimbursed for their rent, but I can resell my membership. Now, mine is called the Adventure Package, and they have different packages that come up every couple of years. I'll see that they're doing something creative or whatever. And how much can I sell it for? I don't know. I haven't tried to sell it. Let's just say, for example, I could sell it for $5,000, because the next person that buys it, now there's a waiting period. I think it's like $700 fee to transfer ownership, and it might take 90 days to maybe 120 days to do that. So it's a little bit of a process to sell it and have the next person acquire it and start to use it with the new name on the account and all that kind of fun stuff. But let's just say I could get $5,000 for it. Well, that's $5,000 I'm getting for a membership, as opposed to continuing to put money into rent. So that's how the Thousand Trails bigger packages works. If you have any questions about Thousand Trails, you need to talk to somebody over there. But I can tell you, I was at Quartzsite, Arizona, this last winter season, and there was a Thousand Trails tent set up there. I went in to see if I could learn. And there's a lot of other things, like they have cabins at most of these places, whether it's a rustic mountain kind of cabin or whether it's a beachy kind of cabin, etc. And with the membership, I think for 3 or 5 years, I'm supposed to get a free week at one of these. I don't know. I haven't even used them. So there's all these other perks that I don't even know about. And so I went and sat in on this talk, and that guy was so confusing, the way that he explained it. I thought, geez, I could explain it better than that. I actually thought about being a Thousand Trails membership specialist, which is what they call folks who are at these RV resorts and sell the memberships to people that come here. So it can be a little confusing, but for those of us who have figured it out, it has been a lifesaver. And one more thing about the website and booking a spot. There are some people who will say, yeah, whatever. So, you know, you're so happy with it, but we can't get a spot. And it's so hard to get a spot booked. Not really. I mean, you know, if it's high season in some places, like for example, if I want to go down in the Keys in February, March, April, they're probably pretty booked up. You're absolutely right. And if I tried to go someplace, I'm trying to think of where the high season is. So maybe even in the Pacific Northwest in the summertime, maybe that would be a little bit more booked up. But here I am in the Orlando Kissimmee area. In the summertime, believe it or not, this is their off season because they get snowbirds. They really get busy December, really January, February, March. So those 4 months can be a little iffy, but there's 5 that I could bounce around in this Claremont, Orlando, Kissimmee area. So even if I had to do 2 or 3 days here and 2 or 3 days there during that 3 or 4 months, I can still do it. So it's just a matter of understanding the system, finagle the bagel. When it says leave a message and we'll call you back in an hour, they always do. So you just have to learn the system. And that is a Thousand Trails membership.